I'm going to talk about human rights violations against women in Turkey, honor and shame. I'm Professor SOPHIA PANDYA. I'm at California State University, Long Beach. This is an image of Merve Demirel, and as you can see, she was sexually assaulted by a policeman because she's the daughter of a Hizmet Gülen supporter. This is an image drawn by a child refugee, a little girl, obviously. And so she had to cross the Evros River. You see the river in between the heart, and you see the pain that she suffered, leaving school, leaving Turkey, knowing that family members have been jailed, reading the newspaper. And you also see that she doesn't have a mouth. She doesn't feel that she can talk. So during political conflict, women in particular suffer from displacement, poverty, and sexual abuse. They're also used as tools to create fear and dishonor in the targeted community. And that's what I'm going to talk about. In the aftermath of the July 15, 2016 coup attempt towards unifying Turkey under his rule and neutralizing those perceived as his opposition, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has taken advantage of pre-existing conditions to scapegoat Hizmet participants. I have HGM, that's Hizmet Gülen movement participants, also Kurds, Alevis, leftists, and others, thousands of whom have fled Turkey. He blamed them for the failed putsch, and he furthered their ostracism. Even casual participants have been fired, rejected, or reported by neighbors, friends, and family members, sometimes jailed and even tortured. And that's, that's not just movement publications, that's Amnesty International. You see another image here by a child held in a refugee camp with their family, looking out at the birds and the sun. Like Vanya, I'd like to thank those children who will remain anonymous, but who drew me many pictures of their experience. So this has led to a myriad of human rights violations. According to the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, General Assembly Resolution 217A, all people have the right to life, property, liberty, security of person, freedom of speech, freedom from arbitrary arrest and torture, the right to work, the right to seek an education, to have freedom of movement, and more. But the Turkish government has violated all of that since 2016 and began to violate that before. What are the consequences for women? They are many, and it's hard to cover them in 15 minutes. But since then, women have been subjected to an uptick of a variety of intimidation strategies, including rape, the threat of rape, harassment, other forms of violence, not only by the AKP-led government, but also by civilians who have been recently emboldened by this climate in which macho hypermasculinity and misogyny have become widespread. Not long after the putsch attempt, feminists noticed an increase in attacks and harassment on the street against women. Journalist Pinar Ersoy writes that women have been silenced during the purge and that women's groups have been targeted. One way that Erdogan has silenced people is through threatening men's honor and also families' honor, women's honor. But if you think of Turkey as a Muslim patriarchal country, an effective fear-creating tactic is to threaten the community's sense of honor. In general, Turkish men are tasked with protecting their wives and children. Failing to do so is considered to be a dishonor. Many of the men that I interviewed wept when narrating their devastating inability to protect their wives during the purge. A recurring refrain was that they didn't mind if they were arrested. They didn't mind if they were tortured, if it just meant their wives and children would remain safe. I heard that over and over again. This is an image of Merve, and I want to start with a quote that she has, because she's not a victim of sexual assault. She's a survivor of sexual assault. She said, We as women should never be ashamed of harassment. It's not us, but the perpetrators who should be humiliated. Very strong words by Merve. So on February 16th, 2019, a movement-affiliated university student, Merve Demirel, took part in a peaceful protest. She was sexually assaulted by a police officer. The Ankara police appeared to justify the assault by stating that her, quote, her father was a teacher who was dismissed from duty after the 2016 coup attempt, implying that her father was affiliated with the Hizmet movement and thus deserved the dishonor of his daughter's assault, unquote. It's the perpetrators that should be humiliated. I completely agree with Merve here. I captured some women's voices. I interviewed dozens of women. So Kader is a 32-year-old married Kurdish woman. She worked as a college counselor, and she spoke of the government in terms of their tactics of targeting women with arrest, mistreatment, and rape. And she said that they do this expressly for spreading fear. She said, I think this is why they arrest pregnant women. Men can bear it, but women are more vulnerable. In jail, those children don't see men. And when they're released, they're scared of men. Sometimes when the mothers and children are released from jail, the children are afraid of their own fathers, she later added. Her friend Zeynep added, this hurts the entire family. It makes the whole family and society scared. They arrested pregnant women with babies or small children. All of those children will never forget this situation. It doesn't matter how old they are. They lost their own freedom. They never got to see the sky, the stars, or even to play in a playground. There are kids in jail that have never been outside. They don't know what it looks like. So I want to talk about political displacement as well and women refugees. So because of this political turmoil, many women have fled Turkey. Women and children, especially girls, are the most vulnerable amongst the displaced. In fact, many people don't know this, but women and children die more than men of political turmoil. So, but during displacement, being a refugee or an asylum seeker, women and girls fall victim to rape and other forms of gender-based violence. And it's a strategy, it's on purpose. This is all on purpose. It's a strategy of political conflict and also part of the danger during the journey to the host country. Displaced women also suffer disproportionately from family separation, language barriers, a lack of access to resources, and mental health issues. And this woman here, after crossing the Evros River, she had a heart attack from the stress and died, leaving her 3 children behind. This is another image by a child. And you can see, you can interpret this as you interpret it, but you see the 2 girls crying. You also see an image of a Turkish flag, but the Turkish flag is kind of in turmoil as it's inside of a river as they're crossing the river into Greece.
Sophia, I think the slide just hasn't changed.
You don't see the flag?
Marve's, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. You don't see this here?
No, just Marve. We're just seeing Marve.
Right. So, okay.
I just wanted to let you know that maybe you want to show something.
Okay, I want to stop share and share again. Thank you. So let me go down to where I want to share the picture so that you can see what I'm seeing. Do you see that now? Oops, one moment. Can you see this image here? Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. I'll leave that there for you to take a look at for a moment. So women that are detained or jailed are vulnerable to strip searches, rape, and other demeaning treatment. That's Amnesty International. There's around 17,000 women currently jailed in Turkey. And a summary of the 2017 UNOHCHR report on Turkey states, and I quote, Turkish authorities reportedly detained some 100 women who were pregnant or had just given birth, mostly on the grounds that they were associates of their husbands who are suspected of being connected to terrorist organizations. Some were detained with their children and others were violently separated from them. And this is an image of Aisha Shema Tash. She was detained 25 days after giving birth to her baby. I'd like to talk for a moment about mother's pain. There's over 700 babies and children held in jail with their imprisoned mothers in inadequate conditions. All of this violates the human right to be free from arbitrary arrest, unfair treatment, unfair trials and detentions, torture, and cruel, here I quote, cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. Article 25 in particular notes that, quote, motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance. That's from the United Nations. Obviously, this has not been granted. So you see the images, women imprisonment increases 470% in Turkey since 2005. And the other image is from a video of imprisoned toddlers in Turkey. I want to talk for a moment about women's strength because scholars have written about the particular resilience of women victimized by political conflict and their coping mechanisms. And these include, quote, external processes, unquote, such as accessing resources, and quote, internal, a little typo there. Oh no, and not a typo, and quote, internal processes, such as reframing negative experiences, visualizing oneself in God's hands, and praying more. Prayer is powerful, but while those interviewed tend to tell me that prayer will heal them, it's unlikely that they're going to escape these wounds without some earthly help as well, such as access to adequate basic resources, food, shelter, and including mental health treatment. Judith Herman argues that healing for the victims of collective violence begins when the violence against them is halted, when their needs are provided for, and the perpetrators and bystanders of the atrocities have been brought to justice. She also advocates that victims give testimony regarding their experiences and find a survivor mission, which can be shared by the traumatized group. Obviously, until Erdogan ceases his purge of the movement and removes the terrorist label that he affixed to innocent people, those with family members still in Turkey cannot safely speak out. And that's why those with privilege must speak for them. And I'd like to thank you.